Hello, I'm Robert, and you're welcome here in my busy little shop. On today's episode of What's My Workbench, I want to talk about my worst tool purchases. Worst could be most expensive, least used. Well, there's lots of different areas to go with worst tool purchase, but at the end of this, I'm going to talk about it from a different side of the same coin, worst purchases. So enough of a ramp up there. I appreciate you taking time to be with me in the shop today. Let's grab a couple tools and we're going to talk about those tools and why I say they were my worst purchases. Okay, let's take a look here. This is a messy workbench here, but this is the block of wood that has holes drilled in it that I put tools that I don't use as often as the tools over on the other workbench over there. And I'm looking here to see if I can find the one tool that I've purchased that I've really never used beyond showing it to you. And I need someone out there was telling me about how to fix this to where it's more usable. But when I saw this tool, it was a snap decision purchase of a tool. And this is a groover here, and it's Horseshoe brand. It was a $100 groover here. And when I bought it, I liked the idea of, let me cut it and I'll show you here. I like the idea of how the end of the tool was shaped here for cutting a groove. And here I just cut that groove on this scrap piece of leather here. And it makes a nice clean groove. The issue I have with it is the groove is really too wide. The other thing is, and it's a skill that you need to learn, but utilizing this tool, it's different than, say, the Tandy groover, because the Tandy groover, its own design really kind of controls how deep the cut is without really thinking about it. Let me make one more cut here and I'll show you. So this tool here, I don't know if you can see, but this is a lot thicker piece of leather it just cut out of there, and that groove is deep. You could probably use this to trim a leather strap. So that's one thing I like about it, is that it is really sharp, but it takes more finesse to use this tool. And the biggest reason why I haven't been using it is the groove is a little bit wide. And someone told me that there was someone that made a replacement tip for this that is smaller, that would be more suitable for the 0.08 or 0.06 thread. So I probably need to take a look at that. But this is a tool that I purchased without a whole lot of thought. We were walking out of the Prescott Leather Trade Show, and I said, "Ooh, that's shiny. What is that?" And went over and looked at it, and I said, "I'll take that." And it's been used to show, but it's not been used in play for me, just because the size of the groove that it cuts is really too big for me. So I need to figure that out. Maybe someone there today is going to say, "Oh, you need to check out so-and-so's." And maybe I need to take it with me to the Prescott show and show a couple of the tool people there the tool and see if they've got something different. So that's one of those that I purchased for $100, and it's never been used on a complete project. Let me see here. Another one along here. I guess, I really don't have a ton of them. This tool here, I've made some keychains, and every keychain that I've sold has yet to be enough money to pay for this. I think it was $100 to cut that. It does a good job. It takes a lot of an impact to cut with that. And they do make this without the handle on it there and to use in a press, but I don't have a press. So that would probably be one of the next ones. Let me take a look over here on the other bench. I'll be right back. I think one reason why I don't have a bunch of them out here is this year when I set up the bench, I pulled out half a dozen tools and they're in a box over here someplace. But here's an example. Now, there's nothing wrong with buying stamps, but when you buy a stamp because it's pretty, but you don't know where you're going to use it yet, then that might be an issue as well. This is a border stamp that I bought from Barry King, and it really makes a cool pattern, but I have a hard time getting a straight run with it because it doesn't have clean points on both ends to be able to line up on there. So that is one of the tools there that I need to try to figure out. The other thing is, I thought it would be cool to run around a belt, but when you come up to the point on a belt from two directions, it doesn't make a nice meet up there. And so I didn't think about how that border would end up there. And if you started or stopped back a ways, there's probably a skill in there somewhere where I can, change how that is. So I'm not saying that this is a bad tool, but buying a leather stamping tool without knowing exactly where we're going to use it might be a bad purchase. But let's think for just a second about worst tool purchases. For me, I have more worst tool purchases that were purchases delayed. In other words, I used a frustrating tool for so long, and then when I finally bought my Ron's number 3 edger here, it works so well, it does what I needed to do, there's no frustration, and I had that with other tools that didn't work as well. This is a 155 CS Osborne rotary punch, and I know there's a lot of people that say, I just buy drive punches. But the way I do the belts, this works really great for me. And I did purchase this year, I purchased an oblong based off of some people's recommendation on belts. And I've tried it on a couple, and I still have mixed feelings about that. The rotary tool is what I use the most. But I think that the worst tool purchase can really come down to putting off and dealing with a frustrating tool for too long before buying the right tool for the project. Now that could be utilizing the right tool for the project. I use and continue to use a utility knife to cut a lot of my leather, but that Sean Woodson knife, let me grab it real quick. This Sean Woodson knife has really changed how I do my belts. When I have a belt that I have a liner on it, in the past, what I would do is I would be using this utility knife and trimming from above, and then you end up nicking or catching the edge of the main body of the belt, not the liner, and then now you've got something you're dealing with there. And utilizing this Sean Woodson DG knife, I'm cutting now from below. And so I'm able to really see what I'm doing more. Instead of working on the off side and trying to cut, the leather, I'm on the near side and I'm cutting from below. And as I'm cutting, I'm able to see that tip of that blade, and I can see where I'm cutting on the liner there. It has just really changed the whole process of cutting the liners. And this is a big purchase. You can find trim knives. I have one here somewhere. Here's a trim knife here that it's a Dexter brand trim knife, and I used it some before I bought this. And it does a really good job of trimming that. Now, is it the same quality of steel there? No. Well, that's the reason why. This, I think, was $7, and this is $170. So, obviously there's a difference. And it's fun to get to the point to where you're able to purchase, let me see if I can do this without hurting myself. It's fun to get to the point where you're able to purchase a tool and enjoy it for its enjoyment of how well it operates, how it feels in the hand, and that type of thing. And hopefully everybody gets that point where they can do that at least with one or two special tools on the workbench and make the process better. But I still think that my worst tool purchases aren't the tools that I purchase and don't use that often. There are a few here on the workbench. There's really not that many of them. It was putting off purchasing the right tool for the right project instead. So I hope that encourages you there. I would tell you to really look at what you're using and make sure that it's enjoyable to use. A good maul in your hand, in my opinion, is so much better than a leather-faced hammer. But that's just me and how I've gotten comfortable with it. I like how it indexes in the hand, and it just works so well. So yeah, keep your hobby affordable, but find areas to splurge and watch when it comes time for sales. We've got Black Friday sales going to be here before you know it. And look for areas to improve on the tools that you use, and maybe improve the tool. The most frustrating thing is a knife that doesn't cut well, and if it's our own fault because we haven't figured out how to sharpen them yet, then that's a skill set that we need to work on. And I had someone not long ago was asking me about sharpening and thought maybe they would send it to someone and have it sharpened. It may take some time, but you can figure out how to sharpen that tool. I have faith that you can, but it may take, you know, you're not really going to probably mess up the knife, but you may end up having to spend time to get it back in shape. But if you make a mistake on sharpening your knife and you get it to where it's not right, and then when you return it to there, you start to understand the sharpening process more and can figure out how to use that. And probably the most important thing is honing and not sharpening where you're using your leather strap. And you need to make sure that you know how to use it. I guess strop is the proper way to say it. But the strop, a lot of people haven't really figured out how to use that, and they actually do more harm than good there, but it's harm that can be fixed in about 5 minutes of resharpening the knife. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I appreciate you being with me for a little bit today. Please like, share, and subscribe, but more importantly, I hope you have a great day.